Once the gun carriage is in position, the carrying party will move the presidential casket onto the carriage. Pallbearers are also marching into position to escort the casket. The reef will easily be replaced, so it's causing no harm. Movement is ordered. The officers pay compliments and the escorts also represent arm. Casket will once again be lashed to ensure that it's very secure. And our shot is the drum majors have also assumed position ready for the procession. Will mount as they join their vehicle. And once they are ready, then the procession is ready to start. From this point, all movement is in slow time.
Please wave your flags as much as possible, as hard as possible. This is the final journey.
There's a basket of those being released.
Salute.
At this point, all personnel in uniform will salute or pay the appropriate compliment as the presidential casket passes them. Sign of peace.
The final journey. Hard to take. But it's real. God be with you till we meet again. Our beloved President,
the procession, as I said earlier, will be led by the escorts, followed by the band. Then we have the body on the gun carriage, who will be flanked by the pallbearers. And they will be followed by wreath bearers. And we shall have a family and chief mourners, and this time it will include the CDS and the IGP. They will be followed by the presidents, the vice presidents, head of government delegation, and ministers. They will be followed by the diplomatic corps, service chiefs, and generals, and then other mourners, and in the rear shall have the security detail. I think we as a people need to congratulate ourselves for the orderly manner in which we've all behaved this morning, especially those who were at the Independence Square. Everything has been orderly. The procession is expected to go through some designated streets in Accra before heading to the Geese Park for the final interment. Along the streets will be service personnel lined up to pay their last respects to their commander-in-chief. All the personnel are reversing arm. Their weapons will be pointing to the ground as a sign of respect, with their heads bowed.
Your Excellencies, you may now resume your seats. Departures will now begin with the President of the Republic of Ghana. All protocols will be observed. Thank you so much for your kindness. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your patience. God richly bless you.
Team of policemen trying to cordon the area to prevent people from obstructing the cortege. Procession will halt at this juncture.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen,
to allow the VIPs to move to a holding location whilst the remains of our Commander-in-Chief, Head of State, is taken through some principal streets of Accra for the rest of Ghana being represented by Accra to pay their last respect to His Excellency John Evans Atta Mills. In our short now, our sympathizers and mourners mourning a dearly beloved Commander-in-Chief and Head of State. The family, Ghana, is bereaved, and so we are mourning our own way. The procession will move a bit faster at this point so as not to spend the whole day waiting for them to finish before the interment. They are heading towards the old Parliament House junction. So for those of you who know Accra, they are using the road from the Independence Arc towards the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. This is an opportunity for all Ghanaians represented by Accra who were not able to go to the Independence Square to pay their last respect to His Excellency J.E.A. Mills.
Ladies and gentlemen, only the heads of state would leave. The rest of their delegations will go to the back there and join a bus that will take them to where they have to go. So the rest of the delegations of our visiting heads of state, please get to the back there. The state protocol officials will direct you what to do. Thank you.
We shall have the outriders leading the procession. The cortege will turn right at the old Parliament House building junction and head towards the African Liberation Circle. And then it will turn right again to the Osu Military Cemetery Junction and turn right back to the Independence Act, turn left and head for the final journey. Marine Drive at a castle roundabout where the interment will take place. The outriders are moving into position. We see have some security personnel moving by the cortege, providing security and paying their last respect to His Excellency J.E.A. Mills. They are doing this on foot. just to also tell the country Ghana that we are fit and ready to do all assigned tasks. This is an opportunity for all of us to pay our last respects. The number of mourners that have lined the streets has once again outnumbered the security personnel who have lined the street as part of their duties this morning. After the interment, there's not going to be any central funeral celebration. All of us as Ghanaians are to hold our funerals our own way in our own locations. The cortege is going through some principal streets with the aim of allowing as many people as possible to pay their last respects. And what we are seeing is that people are still following the cortege right from the Independence Square on its journey. Procession is just past the customs headquarters, the section. Now short is the place of interment. The Geese Park. The park is located between the Marine Drive and the road that leads to the castle roundabout. procession is almost around the High Court area, around the Accra Circuit Court area. In this particular procession, we have the outriders, the body on gun carriage, and all the other persons who are supposed to be part of the procession this time are in vehicles instead of walking alongside the gun carriage. So the wheelbearers, the carrying party, and the band are all in vehicles. Short is the gun carriage, the presidential casket. Procession is now turning right to head towards the National Theatre, and they will continue to the African Liberation Circle. We have security service personnel saluting as the casket drive past them. The interchange. I told you last Wednesday, if somebody is given a military barrier, you be a military person who has died in service. But the status or the level of the parade or the barrier is dependent on your rank. And so it goes higher with your rank. And for a gun carriage, it's only generals and above who have that privilege of getting their caskets being carried by a gun carriage. And even in that case, they move from the church straight to the cemetery. So if your church happens to be at a location where you have to drive through town, then they will definitely have to drive through town. But other than that, yes. But most times, because of the way you see, it's very slow, and so the gun carriage is positioned at a vantage point, and then the casket is moved to that place, and then it's placed on it. This is a full military barrier, and the whole country is mourning. So I believe nobody will complain that they are being inconvenienced. But if it was a normal military barrier, I believe by this time people have been complaining, why have you blocked all streets just because we are burying a military person? Yes, so you see the rate at which they are moving, very quite slow, but that is how it's supposed to be.
And is the significance of this whole drive through town?
It's a mark of respect, and also to give the average Ghanaian the opportunity to also pay his or her last respect to the president. But you realize that not all of them were able to go to the Independence Square, and so at least from where you live, and people in Accra are representing the rest of Ghana. And so from where you realize that not everybody in Accra even get opportunity. So people living around that general area, you also pay your last respect. Once giant screens have been mounted for people to watch proceedings, at least once the casket drives through your location, you also got opportunity to first hand show your last respect to the commander in chief.
Now we don't see the men on horseback. Is it because of the journey or their work is done?
No, they will join the procession again to the place of interment. They will join the procession again. For now, what they are doing, they just cut off the cortege just to give the general public the opportunity to pay their last respect. But the actual funeral procession will be when they've gone round back to the Independence Act. Then the real processing will form, where you get President Mahama and the former First Lady and the other visiting president joining the procession to the interment.
At least a few distance from the exact
place, so that they don't walk for too long.
Some of the things that we touched on also on Wednesday was the folding of the flag and the gun salute. You see that right at the Geese Park when it happens. Then you would at least explain to us exactly their significance and whether maybe the public around the area should stand a bit away, or which direction the guns will be shot.
No, the guns will be fired quite a distance from where they are located by the sound. So even the people living in Osu, some might feel the vibration of the gun.
Are they cannons or guns?
They are guns. But for artillery piece, if you watch, I am an artillery officer, so you see that is what I'm wearing. Yes, you fire and then the vibration is like that. If your house is weak, you can develop cracks. But at least for this one, I don't think it's not a type that will destroy somebody's house. We could also have done it using the navy. They would have fired from sea. Yes, if we're using the navy, yes, they could have also fired from sea with similar guns. Yes. So when it comes to the gun salute, there are times during Independence Day parades, some of the firing are done by the navy from the sea. So whilst they are doing the gun salute, we shall have the Air Force doing a fly pass. And this thing will be done to coincide.
In the air.
Yes, they will fly past while they are doing the gun salute. It shows coordination within the security services.
Now, walk us through the whole process of the interment. How is it going to be like?
Once the procession starts from the Independence Act straight to the place of interment, you have this order, you have the escort, the band, the gun carriage, the wheelbearers, the family. And at this point, I wish they could hear me there so that we just get the immediate family members, because if all the family members want to join, I think we don't have enough space to hold them. And we'll have the visiting presidents, our own president, the members of the diplomatic corps, and the service chiefs and the generals, and other mourners, and security. At any particular point in time, security is very, very important. So there are security personnel, some plain clothes, yes, I like this style.
That's amazing. All in honor of a great statesman, indeed.
And some are also carrying arms, yes. But as much as possible, we are mourning, and so everything is being done in a way that we don't create inconvenience. But I think we need to commend Ghanaians, and especially people in Accra, for the way they've carried themselves all these 3 days. They've not given any cause for high-handedness on anybody. They've been very tolerant, respectful. People stood in queues for 4 hours plus, and they still waited.
Some of these skills and how should I put it, reserved for displays reserved for occasions like this, with a motorcade rider saluting on the rider on the move.
Is looking for an opportunity to show his skills. And at this particular point in time, you realize that there is no traffic, and so he can display his skills. On the normal day, when traffic is flowing to and fro, he will not be able to do this. He might even cause an accident. But just to let the public know that they are also trained, they also have their own style. No, when the national parades, that is where you see them come to display. They also have their formations that they use in all their movements.
And if I am permitted to say normal burial, the graveside, which is the party of the day's activity, we would have song, hymns being sung, and preachers preaching and sharing a few words before they eventually lower the casket into the ground. Does it apply in this formula, or does it what will be replaced in this case by the gun salutes and air display and all that?
No, the gun salute is just part of the activities that will take place. I think I want to go through what I have here. There will be, at the graveside, there will be scriptural sentences, normally very brief. And then a hymn will be sung, then the lowering of caskets, committal, and then the gun salute will come in. They will play the last posts, and they will have 2 minutes silence, and the reveille will be played. It's also a big call before the wreaths will be laid. After that, they will have a song and a family rep. In this case, Dr. Kadman who will give vote of thanks. We shall have the closing prayer and then benediction, and then the ceremony will be over.
It will be the last time we will see our departed president, indeed. But thankfully, he will still be in our midst in the capital. And looking at so far where we've gotten to with the procession and the crowd that is following them, I'm wondering whether when they get to the Independence Arc, those who will be joining them will be standing by already.
Yes,
This is the procession.
they
They will
will
just
take position and with the crowd. No, there are security personnel line up in front of them, but because of their number, you don't see them. So they normally will hold hands so that people don't break the cordon into the street to join the procession. Or giving the chance, everybody will want to go to the place of interment, and that place is not big enough to hold everybody. And so as much as possible, they will be blocked from going there. I would have wished that at this point, people would rather watch the giant screens that have been mounted.
and see.
Yes, and see
every
what is
detail.
going on. Because if you try to go close, you might not even see anything. And if you are watching the TV, you will see a lot from this point.
Lots more last respects
Yes.
from our motorcaders.
That's right.
Indeed, Ghana has shown to the world that we can do it. We can come together and make sure that our late president is buried in a very befitting manner. Ekuba?
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. You think we've taken several months to rehearse this, and it's really amazing how the entire Ghana Armed Forces have actually put their hands on deck with this particular procession and state burial that's going on. Tell me, you are here, you have been in their midst. How has it been? The
It
haziness and
shows our preparedness and readiness to take up any assigned task. Because you always train for any eventuality. But these things cannot be taught when they
okay.
you need to learn practice. And so once the situation comes up, you only rehearse. And you don't need too much time to rehearse.
We know we've had a couple of state burials, and you on your part have had your military burials going on. How close has any of them been comparing to this?
No, I don't think any of them has come so close. And I don't think any will ever come close, because we are not praying for any
definitely.
sugar again. Yes. So we realize even at the parade ground, on the funeral service ground, it is a whole parade that took place there. And this is the only time we have seen the national colors on parade at the funeral. Yes. It shows the level at which the military barrier was taken.
What will be the difference between such a ceremony and that for a president, a former president who is not in power?
I think that will be determined by the government.
We would have the first of that kind too, if it
Yes,
occurs.
when it comes.
Yes.
Because normally it's the head of state who decides who should be given a state barrier. And so what the head of state directs is what will be done.
We are gradually coming through towards the arc, the Independence Arc, which will lead us to the right into the burial grounds.
Yes. So the form of the procession will change. We'll have the rear funeral procession.
Where everybody will be on foot, the reed bearers
Yes, everybody.
and already.
the
The casket will be
pallbearers,
there.
yes. And then you will see the horse riders again.
But these horses, are they spoken to comply, trained
Yeah,
to
trained.
be in tune with the situation?
These are military horses. So the type of training you give them, that is how they respond. It's like having a watchdog in your house. The type of training you give the dog, it responds accordingly. And they are trained for parades. So once the horse is on parade, it knows what to do.
It's also interesting how such a huge crowd is being managed by the military and police personnel.
Well, they've had the compliments of the Ghana Fire Service, the Air Force, immigration, in fact, all the entire
All the
Ghana Armed
security
Forces
services.
security services have been in charge and managing, but as we've witnessed,
It boils down to the comportment of the Ghanaian.
people actually, yes.
They are just taking instructions, and so everything is going on orderly. And this they have done since Wednesday.
At least we haven't heard of any incidents throughout this whole period where we've been mourning the president, and that's quite commendable.
Everybody is just trying to comport himself. So to look very odd if you are mourning such a peaceful person and you yourself you are being unruly.
Personally, for the first time, I saw the geese alive. I had heard about the Geese Park, but I don't think I had taken notice of them there, all white and really alive. And I'm hoping that once they get closer to the burial ground, we would catch a glimpse of them on camera, as well as we have called the park by. Now I saw again Asumdwe Park sign being put there. Perhaps that is what we will call the place from now on. Immediately the late president is buried there. So these planes that will fly, are they ours? And
Yes.
is that the purpose for what they have?
No, they are military combat aircrafts, but they also can be used to
Ceremonial
Yes.
activities like this.
It's interesting you mentioned the geese, Kuba. The interesting thing about the whole funeral service was the part that they released the doves into the air. What's that supposed to signify?
how are we calling the president, the late president?
Peaceful man of peace.
That's right.
It's a bird that symbolizes peace.
That's right.
All right.
And so at this point you want to let the world know that everybody admired, everybody loved, and everybody accepted as a peaceful person is no more. See, some people have followed the procession all through. All through. I'm sure given a chance, they want to follow them throughout the whole of Accra.
Following report from GTV News, a lot of people have come into town, not our delegates and our distinguished president from elsewhere, but our own citizens from across the country who have come to follow through to the end and give a befitting burial. And I'm sure they would really give their all to see it happen to the last detail. Basically, I'm sure they are the ones who are also accompanying him in his final drive, perhaps through these streets, till we get to the Asunje Park where he will be interred.
The procession is almost at the Independence Act. Just saw some immigration service personnel showing someone address.
It's amazing, just the past independence celebration where we saw the full complement and of our armed forces at display, and you wonder, even though we've been commended most of the time for our engagement with the UN and elsewhere in other countries, it's besides the collaboration with the police during our night patrols, at situations like this you get to know and see the real activities that our armed forces men can actually perform in a situation like this. And for them to have walked all the way and all that comes to show what you are made of. Are there other issues that you can deal with that maybe the opportunity hasn't really presented itself for it to be shown?
For us, we should always be ready, and one of the mottos of our brigade is to be prepared. We should always be whenever ready. And so you prepare for everything, because the enemy will not tell you how he's going to attack you or when. So you should always be prepared.
I think it should send a message to us that we are capable of everything once it falls on our laps. Sometimes because we haven't done it doesn't mean we can't do it, and it should all be part of the lessons we are learning now, that once we put our hands and our minds to it, we can deliver and do it perfectly, like organizing such a beautiful thing for our late president in a short period like this. And
I think the whole program has not only been around the military. For the vigil and all these things, I don't think they also had any long period of time to put all those things in place. The Ghanaian goes outside Ghana and is always respected. But I think amongst ourselves, we don't see ourselves as being able to do anything. At least the president's person has put all of us to test. The media, GTV, for instance, from day one, you just done everything possible, positioning your cameras at all other places that I'm sure under normal circumstance, if you are asked that GTV send 10-6 cameras and put one here, you said no, you don't have personnel, you don't have camera, but we are doing it this time around.
It goes to say that whatever you put your mind to, you can do. And it doesn't matter where people come from, despite our different political colorations, despite our different ethnic backgrounds, we can all come together like this in unity to make things work. Perhaps we can approach other issues as well with this kind of national sense of unity.
You see the cooperation among the security service personnel. Everybody is doing something to ensure that everything ends well. There are a lot of civil servants, public institutions that are also supporting whatever is going on. Zoom Lion, personally, have been all over. Everything you drop, they pick. And so the State House area has remained tidy from Wednesday up to this day. Because everything that drops, they pick it up.
At least within these past few days, we've done well to keep the city clean. Zoom Lion has been playing its part efficiently, especially with all these dignitaries coming in. What it tells of Ghana, what it tells of our democratic dispensation, and what it tells of our national character. Ghana is sending a very strong message out there to tell the world that yes, we too can.
And black man is
capable of managing his own affairs. And I think at this occasion, I'm sure after we have laid the old professor to a good rest as it's happening now, we can sit back and talk about how much we have fared throughout, even though painful moments, and see where we have really pulled our resources together to send a strong message to the international community. And the session is approaching the intercession. This looks like the boulevard across the arc.
The crowd virtually following. They are now entering the State House portion of the road. They've gone through the gates. So they are heading towards the military cemetery.
Certainly the crowd won't be allowed around the Geese Park. Now there's Sunday Park.
So as you said earlier, after the interment, there's not going to be a Bunyo party as we would locally have it. Everybody sits around with tables and elders receiving donations and all that. There's not going to be anything of the sort.
No.
We just go home, drink water and mourn him peacefully.
But you do your own funeral
In our own small way.
It's the family Ghana that is big. we will be joining ourselves for the part 3 of the day's activity. I think the program itself is serving as part 2, but if you add this procession through town, that makes it the part 2. Although that was not captured in the program, but that makes it part 2. So from here we go to the grave side for the head and funeral phase. So you have the outriders. Background is the back.
That is the main road, Castle Drive. After that, immediate intersection where the what do you call it, the motorcade
The
dispatch riders is right now at the moment, so everybody would have to clear off that particular stretch to allow in the final procession, as Lieutenant Colonel told us earlier, where everyone of the procession team will be on foot this time to walk in onto the park. I can't wait for the 21 gun salute. Why is it 21, not M12 or 11? Why the number 21 gun salute?
For 21 gun salutes are given to head of state.
Why 21, not 20?
Well, maybe we need to go back into military history. These are certain traditions that have persisted since the introduction of military into the world system, and the British more keen to this. So there's a tradition that we all keep following.
At what intervals is it done?
Between 30 seconds and 1 minute. So, but those things, they are flexible. Because depending on the situation, at times you can go up to about 2 minutes, the interval, just fire one. So if you're going to do 21 gun salute in 2 minutes interval, you know the number of minutes you will spend close to 1 hour just for the gun salute. So whilst already you are trying to cut time, then they have to cut down the number of minutes that they have to wait. Yes, that is his duty, to see to it that the casket stays firm. procession is almost at the Independence Arc, where the whole arrangement will change. And it's like now the crowd is becoming very thick. The security personnel are also trying to get closer in their numbers, just to keep the crowd away from the streets to allow the procession free passage. They are currently by the Accra Stadium.
As we indicated a week before the final funeral rites for our late president, Professor John Evans Atta Mills, that people would have to park at distant places and walk there. It has been made quite lenient for everybody to be able to take part, and so we have all the teeming crowd coming close as they can get. But we just hope that they wouldn't follow through all the way to the Assembly Park or the Geese Park area, as it looks right now around the stadium and also the Independence Arc.
See, around the stadium, there's been a group that have been dancing since morning.
Yeah.
They were not interested in what was happening on the Independence Square. They were doing their funeral. So even before the burial service, they were doing their funeral. And so that particular location has a lot of people there, so that might explain what we are seeing now.
These military trucks have been actually, even though they are quite new, from the old ones that you had till it was replenished with these new ones, they haven't actually been active, have they?
You don't move vehicles when you don't have any use for them. And they don't come to this part of town because they don't have any business being here. Yes. And for these particular vehicles, they are used to tow guns. And so if you are not moving the gun, then the vehicle has to be stationary. But they are used specifically for the guns.
I don't want to go into details where we will be moving guns to and why.
No, we move guns for training purposes.
Okay.
We go to train, and I think we've been inviting the media to Bondasi from time to time when we have the firepower demo. And I think in October we'll be having one. Yes, the guns will be there, and all the assets, some of them will be fired as a training for those who man those guns and the other units that operate as part of the armed forces. Yes. They are all part of our training. That is what gets us ready for situations like this.
But certainly this will be a ceremony to remember, a ceremony that will be written in the history books of Ghana.
Definitely. For even our military history, those who want to write our military history, years after today, definitely we'll have to include this.
Yeah. I think naturally, if I'm permitted to say my sentiments, I'm actually glad to have been part of this, and somehow saddens me that we're ending it today. I mean, I think it's been a gracious way of sending a great man home. Look at this is what Abdul would say, a mammoth crowd, indeed. They're just driving through these packed people all morning, our president.
And this aside those who had lined the streets while the procession went round. So if all those persons decide to come closer to this place,
Well, it's been one event to attract every Ghanaian.
yes. Is this an unprecedented crowd or a gargantuan one?
Both, I think. It's both gargantuan and was unprecedented.
And from what we heard, reports from the other parts of the country, mostly up north, almost everybody up north came down here to witness the ceremony. And so you find the streets there quiet.
This is amazing.
The only time we had something so close was Ghana at 50. That had so many people.
Even Ghana them rallying around at sports.
No,
this much.
At least around the Independence Square. So many people around the Independence Square. So it shows that when something is being done as a nation, everybody rallies around. Everybody. So I think if we focus our drive in that direction to do things as a nation all the time, you get everybody coming on deck.
We are displaying our sense of patriotism, which is one thing to commend.
One nation, one people, with a common destiny.
So gradually we are approaching the Assembly Park for the part 3 of the final funeral rites of our late President, Professor John Evans Atta Mills. And this time it will be by the grave side, where a few more activities or events will be marked there to put him into the grave. It's all red carpeted already.
No, I think this is the wall.
It's a wall.
The wall, yes.
Okay. A partition around the area.
So the tomb actually is going to be where that small canopy is.
The green
Canopy, yes. And the procession.
By and by, as they get closer, definitely we will have close-up shots of how the place really looks like right now at the moment, prepared for the interment. So there's an aerial shot of what is happening there at the very soon we'll be getting right into the Geese Park or the